What is up, members of my collector corps? It is I, Super Mariozilla, or you could call me Vinny, and today we will be taking a look at the S.H.MonsterArts Hedorah 50th Anniversary Set. Released in celebration of Hedorah's 50th anniversary, Bandai treated collectors to another Showa entry in S.H.MonsterArts. But not only were we getting Hedorah's final form, we also got her swimming form and flying form. This set is also a web exclusive release, clocking in at around $200 MSRP. Is this set worth that much? Have a seat, get comfortable, and let's see if Hedorah fits the bill. First, we'll go over the details of these figures first, go over articulation for the main attraction, and have all three figures share a size comparison, okay? Okay. Hedorah in her final form looks fantastic. Now, some details in the movie were hard to make out because of how dark it was, but Bandai absolutely nailed it with the details. And the paint job, ironically, is very colorful on a monster made out of literal pollution. The eyes look nice because they are transparent and have decals for the pupils. Now, admittedly, in some lighting situations, it can be hard to see the red in the eyes, especially having her on display, but doesn't look bad at all, but something worth noting. All across the figure are excellent blends of different grays with streaks of colors like red and yellow, mainly on the egg sac, whatever it's called, and yellow on the top of her head from the cracks, making it look like there's some stuff leaking out. And the sculpted details are immaculate. Every little drip and sludge effect on the suit is accounted for here, captured really nicely. Does the job to make her look all slimy and gross, and in the figure's case, that's a good thing. Moving on to the flying form of Hedorah, at first looking at her, she looks great, but there's an issue in which case, once you see it, you can't unsee it. The top of her is supposed to have the same color pattern as the final form's sac. Oops. I'm surprised even Bandai missed that in the prototype stages. Now, in the grand scheme of things, the sculpt on this figure is excellent and sports a very nice texture, and the paint features beautiful blends of the grays, just like the final form. No detail on the sculpt was missed. And just like her final form, her eyes on this form are also transparent. From top to bottom, including the nasty little fingers, this piece looks solid. So in no way it looks bad. Far from it, but that inaccuracy had to be pointed out. The smallest of the figures, but still a neat inclusion, the swimming form of Hedorah. Looks pretty cool. Sports a ton of sculpting details, like wow, there's so much detail here. And the paint job, once more, is gorgeous. And you guessed it, the eyes on this tiny figure are also transparent. Consistency is nice and scores bonus points. The details are also kinda wavy to replicate how it looked when she swims. Yeah, even the smallest of figures had a lot of work into it. Both the flying form and swimming form have flight stands, and I think you can see which form has what stand by looking at this. Besides the stands, there's no other accessories, but I think with how the current package is, it's fine not to have a lot. Each clamp is molded into the shape of the undersides of both the swimming form and the flying form, and the figures are very secure on the stands. Even shaking them just a little bit, they still stay on those stands. Although, the swimming form has this, a little base to make it look like she's just sitting there. It's as easy as popping off and on the heads, although if you wish to put the head back on the swimming figure, it does take some finagling. And the swimming head looks great on the base, but my only issue with this is that both the base and the swimming body should have had their own heads. I'd personally rather not have them interchangeable, because when one thing's not used, the other is just standing there, so it's not exactly ideal. Maybe I'm being nitpicky, but it just doesn't seem quite right to have the swimming form like this.
Hedorah's articulation is actually really good for what they did for the design, because, you know, overall it's hard to work with a design like this and put articulation into it, and somehow they managed to get plenty of range into her. Now, not all of it is perfect, but it's still impressive that they got a bunch of posability out of her at all. So the head is on a ball joint. She can pretty much look all the way up. And there is no issue of gaps because the sculpt all lines up. Got some pieces over here, sleeves. She can look down. And she can also turn her head side to side. Can also wibble wobble. Cool stuff. Waist is also on the ball joint. You can just barely see it. Like, right here. You see this? Yeah. So, all in all, Hedorah can crunch forward just about this much. And backward, not so much. Which is fine. Hedorah does not need to bend backwards. Arms are on ball joints. We have a ball joint here, and here, and here. So Hedorah can... What? Oh. I will get to that when I get to that. Okay. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, arms, they have plenty of... Sorry about that. They have plenty of range. Like, excellent, excellent. And now for the legs. So, actually now I have a reason to take this off. So this is a sleeve to you know, make sure you don't see too much. And it's attached on the ball joint. But this one is like loosey-goosey. This one is attached just fine. The legs, so there's a ball joint here with a knee bend here. You can see that? And also a foot joint right here. So ankle rocker is possible. These little flaps are adjustable to give Hedorah full range of motion in her legs. The only problem is that the legs are loose, so you may need to take, I think it was Pledge floor cleaner? Pledge floor cleaner from a Walmart in order to get them tightened up, because, you know, it creates a layer on the ball joint, and it'll create more friction for the joint, and thus it'll work a lot better. But on mine, it's not that bad. I'm able to work with it. And her tail, the tail can go upwards and downwards, and can also go side to side, and there's not much rotation, so don't even try. Not much rotation in the tail, but you can still get some cool poses with them. So, Hedorah's articulation is good, and it's not over-engineered. It barely breaks up the sculpt at all. It's not a situation like we had with the original Godzilla 1964 release. So, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. Hedorah has a lot more poses than... Well, that... My bad. So, Hedorah's articulation is good. You can get a pretty decent amount of poses out of her. Still have her look dynamic. Even looking like this. Which, to me, is just amazing. Like, back in the day, a posable Hedorah just seemed unreal. But, here it is. So, honestly... Consider me impressed, and consider me, like, in love with posing this figure. I have a lot of fun with the articulation on this figure, and you probably will as well. Maybe I'm sounding biased, but she's just fun.
Here's a size comparison of other MonsterArts and Kaiju figures you may or may not own. Hedorah is a pretty decent size. Some folks wish she was bigger and taller, but honestly, she doesn't scale badly at all with other monsters and figures. It's not the same situation as the MonsterArts Mechagodzilla 74, so scale may be mixed for some of you, but by all means, it's no deal breaker. This set is really nice. All figures make for nice display pieces and a perfect way to commemorate Hedorah's 50th. Final Form Hedorah is obviously the main attraction, but the flying and swimming form still turned out so good. Final Form was also a lot better in posability than we all thought. She poses pretty nice. Now I know, $200 is a steep price, but it's a web exclusive and the flying form probably helped factor in that cost as well, since it's a solid piece. But my advice, don't let that price discourage you. This is a great set and perfect for Showa fans and Smog Monster fans. This set gets an 8 out of 10. Get her now before she's lost and gone forever. Trust me, I don't think you want to see her aftermarket prices.